Welcome back to Bite Size Nostalgia. I'm Moonlight Peterson, and today we're tackling the most important hierarchy of our childhood, the afternoon snack. If you grew up as a Gen X kid or a 90s baby, these weren't just calories. They were your hard-earned reward after a grueling day of algebra and that long, bumpy bus ride home. We're talking about the golden era of snacks, from the satisfying crinkle of the cellophane to that neon food coloring that definitely wasn't found in nature. Whether you were racing home to catch your favorite cartoons or heading to the local arcade to drop some quarters, these treats were the fuel for our entire culture. We've dug through the archives to rank the top 10 snacks that truly define the era. Before we dive into the countdown though, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us grow this community. Now let's get to it. To understand why we're so obsessed with these treats, you have to look at the world we were living in. For many of us Gen X kids, the 1980s introduced the era of the latchkey kid. We'd get home, let ourselves in, and the kitchen became our personal laboratory before our parents got home from work. The 80s and 90s were also the Wild West for food science. This was the time when fruit became a neon-colored leather and cheese came out of a pressurized can or a plastic tub. Marketing wasn't just about nutrition, it was about entertainment. Snack companies realized that if they could make the food move, change colors, or come with a plastic toy, they didn't just have a customer, they had a fan. We were the first generation to truly master the microwave oven, that high-tech box on the counter that turned frozen pizza snacks into lava-hot gold in under 2 minutes. It wasn't just food, it was independence. It was that brief hour of freedom between the bus ride and homework where we ruled the house. So let's step back into the kitchen. The TV's warming up, the crinkle of the wrapper is in the air, and the snack wars are officially on. Number 10. Squeezits. You didn't just drink these, you squeezed the life out of a plastic character's head. Squeezit was the ultimate interactive beverage, eventually introducing color-changing mystery pellets that turned your drink and your tongue into a neon chemistry experiment. If your mom brought home the Mondo knockoffs instead, you still felt like a king, even if the plastic was a little tougher to twist off. Number 9. Fruit roll-ups. In the 1990s, fruit was secondary. The real goal was the tongue tattoo. Using a bit of heat and moisture, you'd press that edible ink image onto your tongue, proving that playing with your food was the entire point of Gen X and millennial marking. It was the closest thing we had to rebellion in the 3rd grade. Number 8. Gushers. The ultimate sensory surprise. One bite into that hexagonal jewel and you were hit with a burst of thick, sugary liquid that made those 90s commercials feel real, like your head might actually transform into a giant pulsating fruit. It was a concentrated sugar rush that defined the playground power dynamic. Number 7. Bagel bites. The pizza in the morning anthem is likely still living rent-free in your head. Bagel bites represented the peak of high-tech after-school snacking, taking a breakfast staple and turning it into a microwaveable masterpiece that was always roughly the temperature of the sun. It was the gourmet choice for kids who were home alone with a hungry stomach and a remote control. Number 6. Teddy Grahams. Launched in 1988, these were the cute, crunchy alternative to the standard boring cookie. Whether you were a honey, cinnamon, or chocolate fan, you probably spent more time making those little bears dance on the coffee table than actually eating them. They were the perfect companion for back-to-back marathon of sitcoms. Number 5. Handi-Snacks. Nothing felt more sophisticated to a 10-year-old kid than using a tiny red plastic spatula to spread room temperature, neon orange cheese onto a stack of crackers. It was an art form. You had to ration the cheese perfectly, or you'd end up with 2 dry crackers and a broken heart. Number 4. Ecto Cooler. The juice box that refused to die. Released in 1987 as a tie-in for the real Ghostbusters, This green nectar remained in production for over a decade after the show ended because we simply couldn't give up Slimer's orange tangerine flavor. It's the undisputed heavyweight champion of movie tie-in refreshments. Number 3. Snackwell's Devil Food Cookies. The snack that somehow convinced an entire generation of parents that cookies could be healthy just because they were fat-free. They were essentially chocolate-covered sponges with a marshmallow-like center, but in the early 90s, they were so popular they were constantly sold out. We all bought into the hype, one green box at a time. Number 2. Kid Cuisine. This was the ultimate after-school luxury. It had its own penguin mascot, a brownie that stayed lava hot while the corn remained frozen, and a plastic blue tray that signaled a night of total freedom. Eating at Kid Cuisine meant you were the master of your own domain, even if that domain was just the living room carpet. Now, before we crown our number 1 champion, we have to take a moment of silence for the legends that didn't make it into the modern era. These are the snacks that live only in our memories and occasionally in a high-priced eBay listing for a vintage box. First, we remember PB Max. Released by Mars in 1989, it was a magnificent brick of peanut butter and cookie on a whole grain base, draped in milk chocolate. Despite making $50 million in sales, it was reportedly pulled because the Mars family simply didn't like peanut butter, a true tragedy of snack history. Then there were O'Boise's potato chips. They were O'Boisterous, according to the commercials. These were bubbly, light, and had a crunch that felt like 1991 in a bag. And who could forget the original Squeezit flavors? While the brand has seen various reboots, nothing compares to the original lineup of characters like Mean Green Puncher or Grumpy Grape that we used to twist the heads off of after a long day of school. Finally, we pay respects to Keebler Magic Middles. These shortbread cookies filled with molten chocolate or peanut butter were the height of luxury. They disappeared in the 90s to make room for another production line, leaving a buttery, chocolatey hole in our hearts ever since. These snacks might be gone from the store shelves, but they are forever etched into the bite-sized Hall of Fame. If there's a discontinued snack you'd give anything to taste one more time, leave a comment. Let's keep their memory alive. Now, let's get to number 1 on the list, the undisputed king of the trade. If you walked into a cafeteria or sat down at school with a tub of rainbow-sprinkled frosting and kangaroo-shaped cookies, you owned the room. Dunkaroos were the holy grail of the 90s lunchbox, a snack so iconic that its eventual return to shelves became national news for nostalgic adults everywhere. So, we've ranked the top 10, the heavy hitters that lived in our pantries and defined our kitchen table power struggles. But in the 80s and 90s, the snack aisle wasn't just about food. It was an extension of the local multiplex. Back then, if a movie was a hit, you didn't just buy the VHS tape or the action figures, you literally ate the franchise for breakfast. The marketing geniuses of the era realized that the fastest way to a kid's heart was to take the characters we loved on Saturday mornings or on the big screen and turn them into a sugar-coated experience. Now, we're shifting gears from the everyday classics to the limited edition legends. We're going from the cupboard to the cinema as we dive into the weird, the colorful, and the occasionally questionable world of the silver screen snack tie-ins. Remember the Nintendo cereal system? It was a literal game changer for the breakfast table. The box was split into 2 separate bags, Super Mario Bros. With its fruity flavored stars and mushrooms, and The Legend of Zelda with berry flavored hearts and shields. Or how about Pac-Man cereal? It was tied to the Saturday morning cartoon and video game. This was a crunchy corn cereal featuring marshmallow ghosts and Pac-Man. As the game evolved, they even added Ms. Pac-Man and Super Pac-Man marshmallows to keep the level fresh. And you certainly can't forget Mr. T's cereal. These were the T-shaped pieces of corn and oats famously featured in the over-the-top breakfast scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Or how about the not-so-bogus Bill and Ted's Excellent cereal? a cinnamon-flavored tie-in for the animated series that featured a phone booth cutout game on the back of the box. Toward the late 80s, we got into the green wave of snacks. Ghostbusters cereal, capitalized on the real Ghostbusters cartoon. These fruity ghost shapes often came with legendary premiums like glow-in-the-dark Slimer stickers. By the 90s, we also had some tough-talking turtles ruling the airwaves. Remember the Hostess Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pudding pies? Perhaps the most 90s snack ever created. These were handheld pies with a thick, neon green sugar glaze and a vanilla pudding center. And if those snack pies weren't enough, we had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cereal. This Czech-style cereal featured Ninja-net marshmallows and commercials with live-action turtles surfing in the kitchen. So that's our look back at the after-school snack hierarchy. Did your childhood favorite make the list? Or are you ready to go to war over the tragic omission of Shark Bites or Pizza Boomers? I want to hear your core snacking memories. Drop a comment below and let's settle the debate. And if you're looking for more deep dives into your childhood, make sure to connect with us on our socials at Bite Size Nostalgia. You can also take the trivia challenge further by grabbing my book, So You Think You Know the 80s, which is available now on Amazon. And remember, for us, it wasn't just about raiding the cupboard after the final bell. It was a frequency.